Two Greenberg Traurig LLP attorneys begged plaintiff to drop Amazon CEO Andy Jassy as a defendant. When you think about being a lawyer, you probably think about being a legal warrior who will attack or defend by any means necessary. But what happens when you lose a motion or the case or the judge or jury doesn't rule or decide in your favor? What's next? In the Thomas v. Amazon federal discrimination case in the Eastern District of New York, plaintiff Richard Thomas filed a motion that sought the court's acceptance of the service of the summons and complaint upon defendant Andy Jassy. The plaintiff claimed that Andy Jassy was evading service. Thomas's process server served Amazon's agent by mail in or around January of 2023, and service was denied by Jassy. Thomas then got a process server to personally serve Jassy at Amazon's headquarters in Seattle, Washington in January of 2024, and service was denied after around 3 attempts of service, and the process server was told to mail the legal documents to their agent. Therefore, Thomas sought a motion to properly effectuate service upon Jassy, and if the court didn't accept service, then Thomas was alternatively seeking the courts to get Amazon to turn over an address to properly serve Jassy. Amazon's attorneys then filed an opposition letter and stated their argument and provided case law to deny the plaintiff's motion. But on February 21, 2024, the court ruled that Amazon had to provide the address of defendant Jassy or email if defendant Jassy accepted electronic service. Now, since the court ruled in the plaintiff's favor, Amazon's attorney didn't file an appeal. They stepped away from the legal process and they began to beg the plaintiff to drop Andy Jassy as a defendant. When the court made the decision on February 21, 2024, the plaintiff, Thomas, received a phone call minutes after that decision, around 46 minutes later at 10:54 a.m. And the phone call was by one of Amazon's attorneys, Jason Burns of Greenberg, Traurig, LLP. It seemed strange because Burns sounded frantic, and this didn't sound like the same lawyer who was writing in legal documents that the plaintiff was filing a frivolous lawsuit and that Amazon is seeking a motion to dismiss with prejudice and that the plaintiff has defects in his complaint. This was a totally different attorney who was begging the plaintiff to drop Jassy as a defendant. Thomas kept on telling Burns, "I'm not interested in doing that." And then Burns told Thomas, "You are making things difficult between me and my client." This phone call lasted for 16 minutes and 18 seconds. And another call came later in the day at 4:04 p.m. for 4 minutes and 36 seconds. And Burns wanted a time extension to hand over the information, and plaintiff accepted the extension, but Thomas told Burns about the plaintiff's deadline to serve papers, and more time to serve was also extended. The judge extended the February 23, 2024 due date to March 4, 2024. Even though Burns agreed on an extension for March 4, 2024, another attorney, Christina Sines of Greenberg Traurig, LLP, called the plaintiff to beg the plaintiff to drop Andy Jassy as a defendant on March 1, 2024 at 2:26 p.m. Thomas missed the call and called back, and Thomas told Sines that he was not interested in dropping Jassy as a defendant, and Sines was saying that it didn't make any sense to have Jassy as a defendant because Thomas didn't have any actual contact with Jassy. But Thomas told Sines that all of these acts of discrimination was coming from upper management and the very top. The plaintiff also refused to drop Jassy in this 7-minute and 45-second call.